Hello, financial algebra people. We are going to resume our study of consumer credit. If you remember, we started it, but then I wanted to go back and do a little bit more with banking services using formulas in Google Sheets. So what we're going to talk about now is taking loans. In class, we'll have a discussion on the vocabulary and some of the parts of taking a loan, but for this video, we're going to create a formula. If you look at the formula, the monthly payment formula, it looks pretty complicated, but as we've learned from using Google Sheets, it's really not that complicated. And then here's our problem. Mark bought a new car. The total amount he needs to borrow is $28,716. He plans on taking out a 4-year loan at an APR of 5.12%. What is the monthly payment? APR stands for annual percentage rate, and that's what the bank will be charging you. So I've entered into our columns P, R, and T, which is what we're going to input, and then M is our monthly payment, which is going to be this formula. So if we go back to the problem, the total amount he needs to borrow is $28,716. So we're going to enter that amount, $28,716. And I'm going to hit enter, and you'll see it has come up as a dollar amount because I went to the top of this column and I clicked the currency symbol. Now the interest rate says it's 5.12%, so I'm just going to enter 5.12 and see it automatically comes up as a percent. If you're doing any calculations with the percent on a calculator or by hand, you always have to make it into a decimal, but Google Sheets does that for us, so we don't have to do that. Time in years is a 4-year loan. Okay, now let's do this formula here. Let's start with the equal sign. Now, what you guys have taught me is we don't have to include this in parentheses. However, we do have to put numerators and denominators in parentheses. So I'm going to start with the parentheses for the numerator. The numerator starts with a P, which is going to be cell A10. And we're going to multiply that by, in parentheses, R divided by 12. R is cell B10. And that's going to be divided by 12. Close that parentheses. Now, you see it has parentheses and parentheses. In regular math, that's automatically multiplying. However, in Google Sheets, we have to indicate that it's multiplying. I didn't put that in originally, that asterisk for multiplication, and I got an error, which is the same error I've done in the past. I'm so used to math where you don't have to indicate you're multiplying. So now in parentheses, it's going to be 1 plus R divided by 12. R is cell B10. And we're going to divide by 12. And we're going to close that parentheses. We now have an exponent. And the exponent is 12t, so let's put that exponent in parentheses. 12 times t, which is cell C10. C10. And let's close that parentheses for the exponent. Let's close the parentheses for the numerator. Let's divide. And we have to put the denominator in parentheses, so we're going to start with that. And we see there's a parentheses in the denominator, so it's going to be double parentheses. 1 plus R divided by 12. R is B10 divided by 12. Close that parentheses. Raise that to an exponent of 12t. So in parentheses 12 times, and the t is cell C10, C10, close that parentheses, minus a 1, close the parentheses for the denominator, and before I hit enter, let me just do a quick visual check and see if everything looks okay. I think it is, so let's go ahead and hit enter, and yes, it worked. $662.87 would be your monthly payment. Now, one thing that lowers your payment is if you lengthen the term of the loan. So let's put in the same principal. Let's say 716, and let's say it's the same interest rate, $5.12, and instead of 4-year, let's make it a 6-year loan, okay? And then let's come over here, grab the blue square, drag it down to here, and you see, spreading it out over 2 years, lowered your monthly payment by over $200. However, what would the total amount be that you're paying? Let's do a couple quick calculations right here. Let's say you're paying $662.87 for 4 years. 4 years is 48 months, so that's going to be 48 payments of that amount, and hit enter, and you're going to end up paying $31,817. The original car was $28,700, so you're going to actually pay an extra $3,000 for that car because you're taking out a loan. Now let's see how much more it would be for 6 years. This is going to be a monthly payment of $464.07, and we're going to times that by a 6-year loan. 6 times 12 is 72 payments because it's 6 years. Wow, 33,000. So it's less per month, but in the long run you end up paying more. If we take that number that we ended up paying, which is the total of our monthly payments, 31,817, and we subtract the original principal, which is from cell A10, or I can type that number in either way, and we get $3,101 is our finance charge, is what we call that. That's how much extra you're paying for it based on the fact that you're taking a loan. And I'm just curious exactly how much this one would be. So this is 33,413.04 minus A10 or A11, it's the same number, and 4,697 is your finance charge. That's how much extra you pay. So what happens sometimes is when they're selling you the car, they'll say, oh, let's spread it out over a longer amount of time, you'll lower your payment, and you think that's a good deal, but you end up actually paying more. And so the car dealer would actually want you to do that because in the long run they're going to make more money. So let's stop that right there.